Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Mr. Frankie Maneiro.
Oh, yes. We're going to check this microphone and the vocals. Said I love my baby, hot and soul. Love like eyes ain't gonna never grow old. And she my sweet love thing. She my pride and joy. She my sweet little baby. I'm her little lover boy. Said I love my baby, so long as she lean. You mess with her, you see a man get mean. And she my sweet little thing. She my pride and joy. She my sweet little baby. I'm her little lover boy. Said I love my baby like honest wine. I stick with her until the end of time. She my sweet little thing. She my pride and joy. She my sweet little baby. I'm her little lover boy, yeah. Ow! Thank you so very much. The vocals good?
Everything sounds great. I think we're ready to go in here.
All right. Blues, the first song I ever wrote, and I continue to play it till this day. I'm a young man. You know I got my share of the blues. Saying I'm a young man, yeah. You know I got my share of the blues. Fell in love, pain and hate, yeah. Ain't sure gonna give me the blues. Well, you know, Mr. Buddy Guy is always talking about who's gonna fill those shoes, yeah. Well, you know, Mr. Buddy Guy, yes, is always talking about who's gonna fill those shoes. Well, you know, Mr. Buddy Guy, you know I came down here to swap some with you. I came to play some blues, y'all. Guitar Junior taught me how to play the blues, y'all. Can you hear? Saying I'm a young man, yeah. You know Luther Guitar Junior Johnson taught me how to play the blues. He said just like Muddy Waters taught me how to do it, son, I want to teach you how to do it too. I got to do some squeezing for Junior, y'all. I'm a young man. You know I paid some dues to play the blues. Saying I'm a young man, yeah. You know I paid some dues to play the blues. Fell in love, pain and hate, yeah. And it's sure gonna give me the blues. Thank you so very much. This is a little song called Fly With Me. Happens to be a new song I've written and recorded and plan on releasing soon. Every time you walk in the room, I lose a piece or two. I do it all, it's true. I do it every time. Though my head's a mess, I continuously stress. I can't dress to impress, but I'm good at getting by. Honey, I'm not running away. Fly with me, honey, fly till we fade away. Fly with me, honey, I'm not running away. Fly with me, honey, fly till we fade away. You've been pushed around, I know I feel beaten down. I've had my nose to the ground, and I've walked out on those lies. Now and every day, in a brand new way, I let my heart lead the way, getting better every time. Fly with me, honey, I'm not running away. Fly with me, honey, fly till we fade away. Fly with me, honey, I'm not running away. Fly with me, honey, fly till we fade away. Waiting, anticipating. Remember once I tried, I nearly lost my mind. But I still give it anyways because I know what's true. I'd give the chance to you. Would you like to have a try? Fly with me, honey, I'm not Fly with me. A brand new song. I just recorded down in Nashville, and it's a thing called Hold My Soul. It's a new song I wrote that I'm very proud of. So Hold My Soul. Yep. This is a new song called Hold My Soul, and I hope you like it. I got a crush on Mother Nature, and it's clear to me when I'm in her presence, I can feel the energy and all the healing power. Hour after hour, she can dance with the moon dance after hours. Make the sunrise, birth all kind of flowers. Then the bird chirps, little critters, crocodiles. Now the grass soaks the sunshine, waters dance with the blue skies. And I need sun, hold my soul in. You can take it from me all night long, yes. It's love mode, CB, it's everybody, it's you and me. And I don't know where I'd be without love for you and me. It's love mode, EB, it's everybody. Why don't we care for Mother Nature and turn this world around? She's the reason why we're standing on holy ground. Build each other up, not break each other down. With a message of love that feels so urgent now. Spread it to your neighbors, rivals and naysayers. Bless the children with the love of a mother's prayer. Do it from the heart, that's the perfect start. Don't leave your brothers and sisters lying in the dark. I need sun, hold my soul in. You can take it from me all night long, yes. Love mode, EB, it's everybody, it's you and me. And I don't know where I'd be without love for you and me. It's love mode, CB, it's everybody. Love, love, love. Love, love, love. Love, love, love. Love, love, love. Now I need sun, hold my soul in. You can take it from me all night long, yes. Love mode, CB, it's everybody, it's you and me. And I don't know where I'd be without love for you and me. It's love mode, CB, it's everybody. Thank you so very much. Brand new song, Hold My Soul. I'll take that. Let's do some more original songs. This is a groove called Don't You Know, another new song I recorded that I plan on releasing soon. Don't you know all about it? All about it. Ain't it true? Secrets out, I ain't hiding. I ain't been lying. What you got is true. Gone like the wind. Stories coming in. Pull me up again, 'cause I'm all about it. Don't you know all about it? All about it. Ain't it true? clouds falling halfway off the bed. I can't help the smile. I know it's true. Wrapped around my head, all around it. I'm surrounded. Can I share with you? Don't you know all about it? All about it. Ain't it true? Don't you know all about it? All about it. Ain't it true?
Hello and welcome to another edition of Talkin' Tunes. I am your host, Frank Walsh. Thanks for tuning in today. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this person on my right, Frankie Maneiro, is an incredible guitarist, as you just seen. He was a former member of Frankie Boy and the Blues Express, but he is going to be venturing out and has a great new project and a great new direction that's going to be coming forward. And we're going to learn about that today. And we're probably going to learn a little bit more about this guest. So it gives me great pleasure once again to reintroduce to you Mr. Frankie Maneiro. Frankie.
How's it going?
Thanks a lot for being here today.
Of course, thanks for having me.
How was the ride down? You know, you're way up on the North Shore, up by Blue Ocean.
The ride down ended up being great. It showed traffic, and then I kept driving, and I guess the traffic disappeared, and I got here faster.
They know who you are.
Yeah, somebody was looking out for me.
They say, hey, Frankie Maneiro's on the road. Let's clear that path and get him to the studio on time.
Yep.
Good for you. Now, I think if I'm not mistaken, was that the last time we saw each other? You're up there? I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
You were ripping it up there with that great show for our friend Rachel. And,
raising money for
Rachel. What a great show that was.
It was.
Now, let's kind of, start a little bit from the beginning and let the folks at home know a little bit about your history. So why don't we pick a starting point about when did you start getting into music? When did you start playing?
Music's always been a part of the household.
Mm-hmm.
If we go to my father's side, my Nana played piano. My mom's side, my papa played piano. I'm the youngest of 5 kids.
Wow.
So my oldest brother, who's about 10 years older than me, was always in bands, was playing drums. So I looked up to him a lot. But
where's the Maneiro band?
Coming soon.
The Maneiro family.
Trace Maneiros. We've thought of ideas. 2 of my brothers, we've thought of some ideas.
That's funny.
But when I hit 11 years old, I went to my uncle's house. I got an Uncle Al. And I seen a guitar under the coffee table, and that's cool, and I kind of poke around at it. And it was his vacation house in Maine at the time, so he wasn't there yet. My father said, when Uncle Al comes up, you can ask him about it. And I did, and he said, I'll show you that tomorrow after dinner.
Okay.
So after dinner, I'm just fired up, I'm ready to go. Let's go. Finish eating, and the first thing he taught me, and this is what I like to share, is he walked me to the bathroom. You might think that's kind of strange. And he said, all right, before you ever play guitar, you always wash your hands first.
Wow.
So I washed my hands, he washed his hands, and then I got my first lesson.
Now, why was that? Why did he say to wash your hands? Was there a reason behind that?
Probably because I was a kid and he didn't want my dirty hands all over his guitar. That's my guess.
He got some peanut butter on my G-string there.
But I'll be sitting backstage, and maybe I'm a little nervous before a gig, and then I'll go, I just need to wash my hands.
Good for you.
And I'll go and I'll get a smile. But he gave me a lesson that day. I didn't know anything. Like at this point in time, when I'm 11, like I said, I'm the youngest of 5 kids. My mom listened to a lot of gospel records, so I had a lot of alone time with Mom, being the youngest kid, so I would sing gospel song tunes with Mom.
Right.
Dad would have Spanish music going or Santana going, and then the oldest brother's into like punk and hardcore and this and that. The other 2 brothers are heavy into rap.
You had a whole buffet, huh?
I was listening to this whole big buffet. My uncle ended up teaching me what I later learned was a 12-bar blues.
Okay.
So I learned how to play in the key of E. I learned how to play this 12-bar blues. I went home, said, Dad, I need a guitar. I need a guitar.
Now,
So
how old are you at this time?
11 years old.
11, okay.
I got the first guitar, a little starter pack, just comes with all the knickknacks you need. And also discovered in the attic a record collection. So me and my brother pull this record collection out. And for Christmas that year, my family would always do one gift that's like a family gift for everybody to enjoy. So they bought this all-in-one record player, CD player, cassette player. And that's when I found B.B. King live at Cook County Jail.
There you go.
And I was hooked. And it's just funny to think that that lesson my uncle gave me was kind of like the blueprint to what I was listening to. Mm-hmm. And it just all started kind of falling into place little by little, and I was off and running.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think someone had told me that if you can learn 12-bar blues, that you can play anything.
I
Is that
agree.
true?
I do agree with that statement. For me, 11 years old is what I first learned,
Right.
and I've been doing it for years.
Okay.
I've been played many blues gigs. I've been honored to play with so many great blues
Right,
musicians. Then I got a gig with Eliza Niels, who you saw me with, and
Well, hold on to that for a little bit.
Yeah.
Let's go back a little bit and say, how easy or difficult was it for you to learn? Was it easy for you to learn? Difficult for you to learn?
I guess I don't know if it was easy, but it was a lot of fun.
Okay.
When my uncle showed me how to play, I did grasp pretty quickly what was
Okay.
happening.
Okay.
And I'm not going to say I sounded great, but I think for my first time doing it, I sounded pretty dang good.
Mm-hmm.
And I just really enjoyed it. And I guess having the background of people, being told I have dyslexia or I learn a certain way.
Mm-hmm.
There
Do
was
you have
so much.
dyslexia?
That's what they tell me.
Right.
I just learn the way I learn, and I'm really good at it.
And you thank dog every day, right?
Yeah, and so the guitar was.
See what I did there?
There was so much freedom behind it.
Yeah.
There's no you have to read this book, you have to do it this way, and there was
Right,
just
right.
here's the guitar, go have fun, and I was able to kind of really just dig into that on my own and figure things out that I like. So I think the freedom behind learning it was the part that grasped me so much.
Now, when you were going to school, did you get into high school? Did you get into a high school band? Or did you, when did you start playing and maybe gathering some people together and actually putting some songs together and playing some songs and tightening up your skills? When did that happen?
About 16 years old is I started kind of venturing to play with other musicians. Back then, Craigslist was still really popular.
Yes,
and
yes.
And you could go on there and promote
Right.
an ad, hey, I'm a band looking for this. So I
Right,
ended
right.
up finding a kid that lived where I lived in Amesbury, Mass. I hooked up with him. He was into a lot of the same music, Jimi Hendrix, B.B. King, Pink Floyd, whatever. And he's the one that introduced me to a place called the Roma in Haverhill, Mass. And there was a blues jam they did every Tuesday.
Don't know that. Never heard of
And
that.
so he said, come down to the jam. I went last week. It was a lot of fun. And then that's where I did a lot of my playing. I went to the Roma almost every Tuesday for the blues jam. Eventually started singing there. So around probably 18 years old is probably when I got the first gig. I think it was the Frankie Boy Blues Band at the time or something. And so I was kind of off and running a little bit there.
Were you still playing with any of those guys? Did any of those guys kind of go along for the ride with you, or that was just?
Yeah, for a little bit. I mean, I still stay connected with a lot of the family that was involved with that. I just did a gig recently with the gentleman, Johnny B. Savoni, who was the front man and singer of the band. So yeah, we still all stay in touch. We all follow each other's journeys and everything. So
Is it John Schiavone,
yeah.
the drummer?
No, Johnny B. Savoni, or it might be
Okay, so-
Schiavone. If
okay,
I'm
all
saying
right.
it wrong, John, I
I know
apologize.
John Schiavone is a drummer. He was a drummer for Hip Shot.
Okay.
Yeah, and but probably obviously a different one if he's not a drummer.
No, not that I
He's a
know
North
of.
Shore guy too.
Unless he was
plays
holding
up,
it in his back
plays up
pocket.
in Danvers a lot. Plays up in
Okay.
some of the clubs up there.
Right,
Go
right.
ahead, keep going.
But yeah, that was kind of the starting point, going to the Roma, and then the guys there were like, well, hey, you can come check out this jam. We have one on Sunday or something, and that got the ball rolling. That sparked a couple early gigs, and I actually did that for a little bit, but I kind of faded out.
Okay.
And the main reason why was just because I was still young. and I wasn't allowed to go to these places on my own. I wasn't old enough
Okay.
to go into the clubs, so I kind of like was hanging out with my parents all the time, which is great, but I
Right,
wanted to
right.
be a kid. I wanted to hang out with my friends, so I
Right,
kind of
right.
faded out for a little while, and then eventually got back into it. And by 2015, Frankie Boy and the Blues Express kind of started its birthplace, and I started writing new songs and bringing back old songs that I had written.
And you would focus strictly on blues?
Yeah.
Would you get into any of the rock side of it at all? You know,
Yes, I do. Before
Stevie Ray and some of those people. Who were you?
Oh,
Who
yeah.
were you kind of? Say, I want to play like this guy, this guy, this guy, this gal.
Well, it started, of course, like I said, when I was
With
11,
BB,
BB
right?
King.
BB King, right?
But that was really hard to sound like BB King. I couldn't figure his stuff out. My father introduced me to Stevie Ray Vaughan live at Carnegie Hall, so I got hooked to Stevie.
Yep.
And then my brother Jesse showed me Band of Gypsies with Jimi Hendrix, the live
right.
recording.
Yep, yep.
So yes, I wanted to be Jimi Hendrix and Stevie Ray Vaughan for a very long time. I
Right.
still kind of do. I ain't gonna lie to you. But those two, I think, for a lot of guitar players, especially, they just something about them. They're old, but they're new, and they're kind of futuristic in a way too. They just were really cool. So a lot of, and there's plenty of other blues like those two were big. But then I heard Buddy Guy. And
Okay.
when I heard Buddy Guy and I saw how funky and wild and crazy he got with his, feeling of the blues,
Right.
that definitely sparked something in me where I kind of said, if Buddy Guy can do that stuff, I think I can get a piece of this too. I
Okay.
think I can express myself. I'll let BB be BB. He's
Right.
one of a kind, and I think Buddy Guy's one of a kind too. But his energy and presence really sparked something inside of me, made me want to go sing, and made me want to be crazy on stage.
When did you start writing? When did you, was there a seminal moment where you said to yourself, you had a revelation, like I'm good, like I
Sure.
am good at this.
Sure.
I want to make a career out of this. I want to expand my horizons and all those dreams. Was there a seminal moment when that happened? Can you narrow it a little bit to any particular moment?
Well, yeah, I would say the first song I ever wrote in my musical journey was called Young Man's Blues.
Okay.
I wrote that song when I was 16 years old,
Okay.
and I went and saw Buddy Guy live. Buddy Guy's playing down at Hampton Beach Casino,
Yep.
and he was promoting a record called Skin Deep. On
I
that
have it,
record,
yeah,
there's a
yeah.
song called Who's Gonna Fill Those Shoes.
Right.
So he's singing it live, who's gonna fill those shoes, talking about all the greats that have passed away. So I went home and said, I'm a young man, I got my share of the blues.
You're gonna fill those
you know what I
shoes,
mean?
right?
Yeah. And I say in the song, I said, Mr. Buddy Guy is always talking about who's gonna fill those shoes. Well, Mr. Buddy Guy, I'm here for you. I'm here to play some blues.
Good
and
for
then I
you.
rip a little guitar
So
solo.
that was a seminal moment.
That was
that's
the starting, and then
point.
that song ended up. I did like a early recording of it when I was, I think, 16 or 17, and then I forget when we recorded it, but we did a Frankie Boy and the Blues Express album a few years back, and the album became Young Man's Blues, and we re-recorded that song to bring it back to life. So that was the starting point.
How did you pick your band? I mean, I know your band members. How did that band come together? Obviously we got Mickey, and
of course.
How'd you put that band together? How'd you get a hold of those galoots?
It started with just people, some of my friends in Amesbury, where I'm from, and then I started doing local gigs. And then I started a drummer, John Medeiros Jr. He plays at plays with a lot of musicians, but he'll also do a lot of open mic shows or like blues jams. He'll be a part of the event. So I started following where John was going.
I was with John over the weekend. He was playing with the One Dime Band.
Exactly. He plays with so many
Plays
great
with everybody.
musicians. I'm going to say follow that guy. He plays with all the good players.
Right.
And that led to going to Strange Brew Tavern and other places in Manchester. I met a harmonica player, Joe LaTulip. He also used to be known as Harpo or Little Harpo, but I call him Joe LaTulip.
Yeah, yeah.
And so I said, Joel, come play some shows, and we played a few shows, and Joel was actually the one that said, you need to come to the Blues Jam at Strange Brew in Manchester, and you need to meet some people. That's how I met Mickey McGuire.
Yep.
That's how Mickey got involved, and a gentleman named Matt Marzola on drums got involved. And then that was kind of the early start of it, and then me and Mickey stuck together, and new people would kind of venture in and out, and that was just kind of how the ball got rolling, really,
Right. Cool. Now, how easy or difficult, like back then, I mean, the music industry has changed. The gig industry has changed. COVID
Right.
took
Yes.
a big bite out of that. How do you see the evolution or the de-evolution of the ease of going out and getting gigs, finding gigs? How have you found that over the last, since you really started getting out there playing?
Right.
What's your take on that?
Well, it definitely slowed down for a little bit, and just a lot of people just being unsure what's
And the
really
places
happening.
were closing too. There were not that many places.
Can we open? Can we not open? And then places are shutting down because they're just closed for too long.
Yeah.
So it was pretty surreal. In 2019 is when I got linked with Eliza Neal. So I did all this touring. I was going to new places.
Yeah, how'd that happen with
And,
Eliza?
I got connected through a bass player named Lenny Bradford. And I did
Smiling
a few,
Lenny.
Yep, Smiling Lenny. And I did a few gigs with Lenny. And then he would call me up, hey, I'm going to pass your information along to so-and-so. And
Right.
he called me up one day and said,
Right.
Eliza Neals needs a guitar player. I didn't know who Eliza was, but I love Lenny and I trust Lenny. And I said, by all means, Lenny. And I got a phone call from Eliza. She said, we filled in the slot for this run, but send me an email and put a few videos in there. And I did. And I got a text message that said, wow, I wish we found you sooner. We'll be talking. I'll get a hold of you when I'm back from this run of shows.
Right.
And
Cool.
then I did a gig, and I did another gig, and another gig, and another gig, and
So it goes.
it's 2025, and she still calls me. I love it.
Now, is there a nicer bass player or a nicer musician than Lenny? It's hard to find
I mean, I'm
anybody nicer than Lenny.
Nicer? I don't know. I haven't met them yet.
Lenny
you know.
Bradford?
No, I haven't met a nicer bass
Oh, you
player
haven't
yet
met a
than
nicer
Lenny.
guy.
Yeah, Lenny's. I mean, we're all one of a kind, right? But Lenny there's just something about him. You just when you don't even have to talk to the guy. You meet him, watch him on stage, you'll understand what I'm talking about. He's really a great person.
Right. Now, as far as your music go, you started to do some writing of music.
Mm-hmm.
Where do you find your inspirations? When you started to write, what how do you find them? Do you hear a song and say, "Ooh, I'm going to write a different version of that," or "Ooh, I saw a bird in a tree today, and I'm going to write a song about that." Where do your
Certainly.
inspirations come from?
A little bit of what you just said, and I've always been fascinated by like freestyling. So I mentioned I had a couple brothers that are really into hip hop.
Okay.
So I got into a lot of hip hop, and I really got into like freestyle rapping. These guys that would just hear the beat and they would kind of make up these things. So I've always been kind of doing that a lot.
Right.
So that plays a big factor into the writing. And then it just it depends on the time of day, how you feel, how the world is around you, or whatnot. So I mentioned Young Man's Blues being the first song I wrote.
Right.
Then I kind of slowly, a little bit faded away from the music. Like I said, I couldn't go to the clubs on my own, and I just wanted to hang out with my friends. Then I met another good friend that has played drums with me a handful of times, Jeremy Curran. We started hanging out a lot, and that's when I got really just re-inspired by music again, and I started playing a lot more guitar. That led to writing 4 songs that I guess you could say are a little more on the rock side, et cetera, et cetera. They definitely weren't like straightforward blues songs.
Right.
One of the songs was called In the Beginning, so I just talked about how like I had this dream of music, and I just talked about where I got to at that point in time. I had a grandmother that passed away, so I wrote a song called It's Hard to Let Go.
Nice.
Just talking about the spirit. The spirit's not gone. It might be hard to let go, but
Right.
and then I wrote a song called Can't Stop Now. And if my mother was here, she would tell you that's the best song I ever wrote.
Moms do that.
I re-recorded that song this year down in Nashville. I did some recording at Wild Feather, and I re-recorded that song for my mom, and it's a whole new version of it, and I'm mind blown as to how it's turned out. A lot of these songs, when I write them, it's just me and a guitar. So I'm in the woods, I'm downstairs in my jam area or something, and I'll just record them on my phone just to have the demo. So sometimes,
are you imagining the horn or a bass
yeah,
or a drummer? Or
sometimes, yeah, I can kind of hear.
That in,
sometimes I can kind of hear that in the head a little bit.
Yeah.
This project that I just recorded, for example, it was demos, guitar and vocals. I sent them out to my buddy who has the studio, Zach. Zach got a hold of me, and he said, we can make this happen. I have musicians down here if you want. And so I definitely let the musicians that come in listen to my demo and play their feeling of what they feel should be on it. I certainly don't tell people. I'm not a drummer at the end of the day or a bass player.
Right.
I play guitar, so maybe if I had a rhythm guy in there, I would say, well, I was kind of hearing this rhythm, but I just let the guys create their thing. So these songs, I go in there with guitar and vocals, and now I'm coming out with guitar, vocals, bass, drums, pedal steel on this song, horns on this song, bagpipes on this song.
Right.
So
now, how about the evolution of your guitar playing? I know you picked it up, as you go along. What's the evolution of your gun play? How is your playing different now than it was, let's say, a couple of years ago? And then how is it like 5 years ago?
Right.
How much do you practice? What goes through your mind when you're learning? Do you hear someone's playing and say, I have to learn that?
Yep.
Or does these type of things come natural? Because again, I'm not a musician.
Right.
And I see these people play. I've seen you play many times.
Thank you.
And the last time I saw you playing with Eliza Niels, I mean, you blew the house down. You did Hey Joe.
Right.
And it's out there on my page if you go out and look at it. You blew the roof off of that.
I appreciate
And you were
that.
shredding. You were going crazy. Like, where does that come from? Is that something that you look back and say, wow, I don't know that I did that? Because, I mean, I interviewed Ricky King Russell one time, interviewed James Montgomery one time, and they both said to me that they've seen videos of themselves, and they shake their head and say, where'd that come from?
Right.
Now, Ricky King Russell said to me one time, it's like God puts a finger on the forehead and says, here.
Yeah. I have to
relate to that.
That's
like,
a really cool way
Where
he
does
said
that
it.
stuff come from? Is it natural? Do you look at yourself afterwards and say, how the hell did I play that?
I do that exact thing. For example, you just mentioned we played Hey Joe that night, and I get off stage and I'm trying to shoot over to the merch table to autograph some of the items they're raffling off, and people are obviously wanting photos and they're talking.
Yeah.
And two people in particular mentioned Hey Joe to me. One person saying, wow, you really opened up on that song and let loose. The other person mentioned they saw the Jimi Hendrix tribute show and that they liked what I did better. And I'm thinking in my head, that's crazy. There's so many great guitar players on that show. Then I go back and watch the footage you share, and it's kind of one of those moments. It's like, okay, I think I'm starting to understand why people feel the way they feel when I do certain things, because to me, it's just happening.
Yeah.
Or like I was telling a buddy of mine this past weekend, like sometimes I'm on stage and I'm bouncing, and then I do this head twirl, and I just like, did I just do that? And it worked.
Right.
And then I try to do it again, but because I tried, it doesn't feel right anymore.
You can't do it. So there is that piece of magic in there, like
definitely. I'm definitely believing the magic.
And you probably, if you went to play that song again, you probably couldn't duplicate that. Would you say that?
Definitely not. And that's one thing too. Like I feel like watching back to footage can kind of hurt us sometimes because we're like, wow, that was the coolest thing I ever played, and then you try to replay it.
You can't do it.
But you're trying to recreate something that just happened naturally. You can't do it. So I always try to breathe freedom into the song and not try to do the same thing twice. And it just naturally happens that way because blues especially is such a feeling. It's music. It's 100% feeling. So sometimes Eliza, if I'm on stage with her, sometimes she might give me a solo and the band's already kind of up here level-wise, so that's where my solo has to start. Sometimes we're down here, so I got to hit you with a soft note, you know what I mean?
I was just going to ask something similar to that is that, how much energy do you get from the surrounding cast? When you have a Lenny Bradford, that night you had Willie J. Laws, you had John Medeiros behind you. And then, of course, Eliza, who was just on fire that night herself. How much do you draw from that? How much do you, either consciously or unconscious, say, I'm playing with these great people. I need to keep up. Right?
Yes.
How much of that goes into it, or does it just come naturally? And again, and you look at the end of the day and say, how the hell did I do that? How much consciousness is involved in that?
I guess there is a little bit of all of it. I mean, like I said, I'm a firm believer of the magic. But for a guitar player, I would sound like garbage if I didn't have that rhythm section. That band, the rhythm section, the drums, the bass, and maybe keys or maybe rhythm guitar.
Right.
Those guys are building the platform. You might not notice it from the standpoint of being in the audience, but those guys are building a platform that's making you go like this.
Okay.
And they're
Yeah,
building
you
a
can see the communication among you all. You
And
look at
that-
each other, you get the glance, you get this.
That platform gives who's ever doing the solo a place to build what they're doing. And then the band's listening to this guy's listening to them. So you're working together.
Right.
But it's that platform from the rhythm section that builds everything about the music we love and listen to. And without that platform that night, I wouldn't have hit those licks that I was hitting.
And how
whatever I was listening to was clearly feeding me energy to produce what I did.
Was that, or are some of those solos that you do, how much of that is just ad lib in the moment? Where you're you're just playing, right? So
all
that's
of
not
it.
rehearsed.
All of it.
And it always amazes me when you get musicians at your level who can, you play Hey Joe and you get that solo, and then you rip that.
Sure.
And then maybe 2 or 3 or 4 songs later, you get another solo, which is totally different from the one that you just played over here.
Yep.
And that's pretty much ad lib in the moment.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah. Definitely.
That amazes me. I
think the blues music and solos in general, I think have that freedom. Blues especially, it's the feeling. Sometimes the song's loud and proud. Sometimes the song's right in the middle. Sometimes the song's down here, up here, and in the middle.
Right.
So it's just like I said. I guess it's the nature of the beast. It's the
Right.
And like I said, when I go on stage, like there's been like maybe a couple times where I've had to plan a set list because you only have 20 minutes to play music.
Right.
You only have a certain, but like when it's a normal gig, I usually don't use a set list either because you want to play to the feeling of the room, the energy of the room. I might play a song that was funky and fresh and dancey and everyone lights up. So I said, all right, we need more songs like that tonight, you know?
There you go.
So the guitar playing, the same thing. I mentioned freestyle rapping and freestyling. I look at my guitar playing like that. It's a freestyle every time I get up there, and I try to start off with different notes, or sometimes if I feel like I'm playing the same stuff all the time, which I might not be, but as musicians we do that.
Right.
I just say, okay, I'm going to hit a note, and I don't even know what it's going to sound like, but I'm going to hit a random note and build off of it.
Yeah.
And there's certain times, and I think that Hey Joe experience you talked about is one of them. I like to say is like, you mentioned a gentleman talking about like a finger and God feeding him.
Yeah, Ricky King Russell and James Montgomery. I have a video
I had a girl.
of that.
Yeah, I had a girl mention to me, well, that's just your spirit angels talking to you.
Okay.
And there is definitely times when I get on stage, and next thing you know, the song's done. Place is going crazy, and I don't even know what just happened, but I'm glad that I was the one holding on to the guitar when it happened, and you get off stage, people compliment songs. Half the time I don't even remember what I played, mainly because I don't use a set list, and I'm usually going off the flow, but
that's
that's
kind
why
of the answers I was looking for.
That's why I'm kind of saying, so I get those magical moments on stage. You get off stage, you hear the compliments. That was amazing. I've never heard anybody do that.
Right.
Then you might be able to watch back YouTube or something. Someone filmed it, and then you can kind of go, okay, I realize why people feel the way they feel. You know what I mean? And I used to, when I was younger, my brothers would all come out to my shows. So when I'm 16, 17-ish, I'm 34 now. So I would tell my brothers, I was like, yeah, but I feel like I want more people moving or dancing or that. And my brother Mike sat me down once and he says, I think what it is people are so mind blown by what you're doing, they can't help but watch.
Right.
And I was
That's
like, well,
true.
I guess that's a good thing. I
That's
still want more dancing. And as time went on, that became more of a thing. And I got better at what I do at my craft, and I worked harder at it, and practice makes perfect, seat time, all of that. So
you're 34. I have underwear older than you.
Nice. I don't want to see it, but
Let me ask you one quick question. You go back to the spirit angel, right?
Yep.
If you had to put a name on that spirit angel, who do you think that spirit angel is? Who's doing that, rather than this fictitious spirit angel? Who put a name to that spirit angel? Who is it touching you, making you play like that?
To me, I believe it's just family members.
family?
I have I keep family names alive. I have a guitar named Blanca. That was my Nana's name.
Okay.
So I think it's Grandpa Pear. My grandfather I'm named after. His name was Frank Beauregard.
Cool.
And so I do like Frankie B or Frankie Boy.
Right.
And when I autograph, I do Frank B, and that's technically my grandfather's autograph. So I feel like I'm signing his name on everybody's things that they get, which is a lot of fun for me. So I think it's just I really don't know the truth behind it, but I just believe it's all good things.
Right.
I think it's family members. I had a great grandfather that I remember, Maneiro, Prepare, and my Nana. So.
Well, I think that this would be a good time for your family members to sit back, as well as the folks at home, and maybe hear a little bit more of your music.
I like that.
Than to talk about it. So we're going to take a little break, folks, and you are going to sit back and relax and listen to Frankie Boy. And when we come back, we're going to pick up the conversation about where you're going to take your music and what's next for you. So,
Yeah.
sound good?
It sounds great.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, buckle up, and we'll be back in a little while.
Now let's go back into some bluesy stuff, because I got to do all of it. Another original song. This is a song I wrote about my lovely niece in Florida, and it's a little thing called Hey There Anaya. Hey there, and I can't keep my eyes off of you. Thank you so very much.
This your first time in front of the audience?
This is a Luther Guitar Jr. Johnson song, a little thing called Groove With You off an album called Groove With You. So if you don't mind grooving for a minute. I wanna groove with you, yes. I wanna groove with you, yes. Get down on the floor, let me see what you can do. Get down on the floor, baby, let me see what you can do. Like the way you smile, the way you hold my hand, girl. Like the way you smile, baby, the way you hold my hand, girl. I know this, baby, I'm gonna be your man, girl. I know this, baby, I'm gonna be your man, girl. Daddy told me on his dying bed, give you high, but don't you lose your head, no. You came along, girl, what did I do? Said I lost my heart and my head went too. Little girl, said you sure can cook. Little girl, said you got me hooked, darling. When you cook that chicken and you save me the head, said I should be working, but I'm home in bed, girl. All night long. All night long. All night long, girl. Baby, all night long, yes. I wanna groove. I wanna groove, girl. I wanna groove. I wanna groove with you, girl. Ow! Thank you. Ow. Guitar Junior. Here's a new original song I plan on releasing soon called Burnt Out and Tired. I hope you guys like it. I'm burnt out and I'm tired. I ain't broke, I ain't a liar. I'm unhappy, but I'm happy, if you know what I mean. Time goes and days grow, stay strong and grateful. Can't give up on me. Tell my mama I'm going, got my faith and it's growing. There ain't no way I'll let you down. Call up my dad, have a good laugh, reminisce on the past. It's all that I need. When life's got you all types of down, you don't feel like moving around. Hold on, don't fade away. Come back to me now, so I can find my way. Burn out and I'm tired. I ain't broke, I ain't a liar. I'm unhappy, but I'm happy, if you know what I mean. Time goes, the days grow. Stay strong and grateful. Can't give up on me. Tell my mama I'm going, got my faith and it's growing. There ain't no way I'll let you down. Call up my dad, have a good laugh, reminisce on the past. It's all that I need. Stick to the script I've been told. This is how life will unfold. Say hold on, don't run away. I'm still holding on. People, I'm doing it my own way. Burn out and I'm tired. I ain't broke, I ain't a liar. I'm unhappy, but I'm happy, if you know what I mean. Time goes and days grow. Stay strong and grateful. Can't give up on me. Tell my mama I'm going, got my faith and it's growing. There ain't no way I'll let you down. Call up my dad, have a good laugh, reminisce on the past. It's all that I need. Because I was talking about Buddy Guy, and we was talking about Stevie Ray Vaughan. Buddy was the original guy to do this song. Stevie Ray Vaughan also made it very famous. So let's jam on a little Mary Had a Little Lamb. Mary had a little lamb, her face as white as snow, yes. Everywhere the child went, that little lamb would surely go, yes. He followed her to school one day, which broke the teacher's cool, yes. But what a time did they have, yeah. Lord, I said that day at school, now just get basket, baby, a pretty yellow basket. I sent a letter to my baby. Lord, on my way I passed it. Ow! Mary had a little lamb, with faces white as snow, yes. Everywhere the child went, Lord, I said that little lamb would go. He followed her to school, which broke the teacher's school. What a time did they have, yeah. Lord, I said that day at school. Now tisket, tasket, baby, a green and yellow basket. I said a letter to my baby. Lord, on my way I passed it. Ow! Ow! Thank you so very much. Oh yeah. Found Woman, an original song, and I hope you guys like it. Said I see you walking in, girl, with your long blonde hair and a smile so sweet, woman. Baby, all I can do is stare. Come on now, baby, let me take you downtown, girl. With my arms around you, baby, I'll be the coolest cat in town, girl. Make you feel alright, woman, when times is blue. Make you feel alright, girl, any way you want me to, baby. Come on now, baby, let me take you downtown, girl. With my arms around you, baby, I'll be the coolest cat in town, girl. This is what she said to me, y'all. She said, I ain't through yet. All over when she walks, made a blind man see, made a dumb man talk. Come on now, baby, let me take you downtown, girl. We're gonna eat at the finest restaurants. I'll be the coolest cat in town. Thank you so very much, ladies and gentlemen. Frankie B. Music.
Wow. Good job, my friend.
Thank you.
Good job.
Thank
I
you.
told her that you would not be disappointed. Now, I think this might be a good place to pick up where you are currently, and you had been playing with Frankie Boy and the Blues Express, and how many years did you play with them?
The project started forming about 2015, and I made the decision to start doing my own thing by the end of 2024. So 9, close to 10 years. Yeah, it was just time for a change.
Right.
And I had been going through life-changing things behind the scenes, and it had been sparking up new songs, and it was just time to start growing. And there's so much music out there, and I told you a little bit about my influences.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of that inside of me, and it was ready to start adventuring and come out, and you know what I mean? So that's,
Cool.
yeah.
Let me just jump in quickly with, they picked up a little gunslinger,
They
the
did.
old soul.
They did.
Did you see Nikki on this show?
Oh, yeah.
Nikki and the
I
guys?
watched it. Yeah, I
Now,
watched it. I was smiling the whole time.
What's your take of the young gun? You know, the other seasoned pro, then you get these young guns coming up. What did you see when you learned of Nick, and when you see a guy like that being a guitar player? How do you look at somebody else like that? What do you do?
I laugh and I smile and I enjoy every moment of it. I can remember being a little kid at the Blues Jam, going to the Roma, and Dale Stubbs playing this mean guitar lick.
Dale, yeah.
And I was watching his fingers, and they gave me a solo. I tried playing the same lick, and I got pretty close.
Yeah.
And Dale complimented. He said he was grateful for it. He said, "Man, that meant a lot to me." And I'm on stage and with Nick, and I go, "Okay, rip a solo." Next thing I know, I hear a lick, and my head turns over, and I go, "Oh, I wonder where he got that from."
That was yours?
I started, not necessarily
Right,
mine,
but a hook
you
you
know,
play.
we all borrow them from somebody, right? And we
Right.
do create things
Right,
just
right.
from sitting down and noodling, but little did he know I got it from Luther Guitar Jr. Johnson, and maybe
Right.
he did too, but it just
Right.
so happened that it's one that I play a lot, and I heard it coming out of him, and you know what I mean? So it just reminded me of being little, and yeah, he's doing what I was doing. You know, he's got it. When I heard that, I said, he's got it. I
Well,
don't need to worry about him.
Before we move on, what little piece of advice would you give Nikki? If Nikki was here and say, "Nikki, I've been watching you play. You're a great player, but..." Give him a little piece of advice. What would that little piece of advice be?
The piece of advice would be keep going and keep climbing and keep believing in it.
Keep playing, keep
You
believing
know,
in it.
Luther told me, and this is what I'd say to him, if you want to do this, I'm not going to use the inappropriate word Luther said, but if you want to do this, you have to believe in it.
Yeah,
And you have to find your own sound. So keep doing that, keep creating you.
yeah,
Don't lose sight of what you believe in and what's inside your heart, because it's going to tell you the truth.
right.
And that truth will come out into your music, and, you know.
You've mentioned Luther a couple of times. Talk
Yep.
about how you met Luther, and talk about his influences. And I know that you were tight. Mickey McGuire was tight.
Oh, yes.
Talk about Luther, and talk about how that all came about.
So Mickey McGuire, who is keeping the Blues Express alive with
Amen,
Nick, he had been friends with Luther for years. He
Yes.
actually met Luther sometime in the 90s, like mid-90s. Luther did a recording, a live record, and so Mickey ended up going to that show and then ended up meeting Luther, and that's kind of how his friendship started. And then you fast forward to me meeting Mickey, and I'm slowly learning about Luther, and Mickey's slowly telling Luther about me. So I had gotten the chance to kind of speak with Luther briefly on the phone a couple times. Then one day a guitar amp came up for sale. Happens to be the amp that belonged to Luther. Happened to be an amp that he bought, he told me later in life, he bought it on the south side of Chicago, 1974, shortly after getting with Muddy Waters. So that amp came up for sale. It belonged to a gentleman that owned it, that knew Luther, and he acquired the amp. He needed to get rid of it because he couldn't no longer hold on to it. I was luckily first in line. And
that's
I
where
think
that sound
that's-
today was coming from,
Oh,
right?
yeah, and I think that really opened the door to getting closer to Luther. Because I think Luther started realizing that I cared more about him than just wanting something from him or whatnot. I truly appreciated what he did, and I wanted to learn as much history about that amp as I could. So he said he bought it in '74, and I believe it's a '74 Fender Super Reverb amp. And Luther would share stories of, like, you know, Freddie King played through that amp. You know, he would say things like that. And then fast forward a couple years ago, I should say rewind. A couple years ago, I met a gentleman. I bought a Fender Blues Junior off of him. David D is his name, and he's down in Gloucester. And he started telling me about his, story with music and playing in the 70s and this and that. He sends me something in the mail. He sends me photos he took from a festival that happened in, I think it was in like Rhode Island or something. And B.B. King was on the bill, Buddy Guy, Junior Wells, the Muddy Waters Band, Freddie King, et cetera, et cetera.
Bunch of bums, huh?
And I'm looking at these photos, and there's the Muddy Waters Band, and there's Luther on stage. Then I flip to the next photo. There's Luther with his arm around Freddie King, and Freddie King playing Luther's guitar.
Nice.
So I know Luther wouldn't lie to you and say, oh yeah, Freddie King, like I knew it was true. But how crazy is that? I met a guy and he gives me a photo with Freddie King playing Luther's guitar, sealing the deal.
Awesome.
There's a lot of history behind that instrument. And Luther would always say, man, that amp got a heck of a sound, boy, I'm telling you.
Right.
And we talked about the spirit angels and things of that. I'm a believer in the magic. I'm a believer in the spirits. Mm-hmm. When I brought that amp home, I lugged it up the stairs, very heavy amp. So that was my first question I was going to ask Luther. How'd you carry this around everywhere you went? I would have gave up.
Right.
5 years into having it. I have it now because of the history, but, I brought this amp home. I get it upstairs. I put it in my room. In the hallway, I had a closet where I store all my extra gear, and I'm flicking the light switch, and it ain't working. So first thought, maybe the bulb's out. Attached to that light switch is the one for the bathroom. I'm hitting that. That's not working. But my other light's working, so it's got to be popped a fuse, right, or something, the breaker switch. So I go grab my phone, and right when I go to hit the flashlight, both those lights that weren't working turned right on. I looked over at the amp, and the previous owner named it May. So I just looked at the amp, and I said, that's just May telling me she's home.
Wow, that's awesome.
And
that's awesome.
It's the only amp I want to play. It's bittersweet. I just get such a sound out of it.
Awesome.
So Luther wasn't wrong. That amp got a heck of a sound, and I'm blessed to own it. I'm blessed to still be playing through it. So
did he teach you? Did you learn a lot from Luther? I know Mickey idolized him.
Yes,
Mickey idolized him.
We both definitely. We definitely learned a lot. And I used to, like, when I played Young Man's Blues, for example, that was a song I wrote when I was 16. I talked about Buddy Guy in the song.
Right.
When we re-recorded it, I wrote a new lyric for it, and I said, I'm a young man, Guitar Junior taught me how to play the blues. He said, just like Muddy Waters taught me how to do it, I want to teach you how to do it too. And now I tell people that I wouldn't necessarily say he taught me how to play the blues. What Luther really taught me how to do was be myself. Luther taught me how to be true to me and to be myself. And he used to always say, like I said, you want to do this, you have to find your own sound. And that was always ringing in my head. And I used to sit with Luther one-on-one on the couch. And, he'd say, give me one in E natural. Ba-doom, ba-doom. So I'd start playing my acoustic. You real good guitar player, boy. You ain't need no band. Ow! And he'd start singing songs. And then he would go, these are just ideas for when you up there squeezing it, And then he'd scream again. He'd start singing. And we'd play the same riff for 20 minutes. And it was all smiles and fun. So just
that's awesome.
Realizing, Luther's spitting his catalog at me. And he's just making stuff up. He would just talk about something in the room and make it sound so cool,
Right. And he was such a cool guy.
He was.
Even towards the end, I remember. Were you at the show at the City Winery? It probably goes back maybe 10 years ago. Him and Bobby Rush. The one with Bobby Rush.
I didn't make it to that one.
You were not there for that one. What a night that was.
Yep.
There's a great picture that I took. It's one of my happiest pictures that I took. There was Luther, Bobby Rush, Holly Harris, Mike Zito, Toneless String Bender, Ron Levy, and everybody, and Mickey. Mickey was there, and they were all sitting there. I don't know if my wife was in it, but they were all sitting over there, and it was just like a picture waiting to be taken. And there they were, and I just said, like, turn around, and everybody smile, and I just, I'm one and done. I don't take 20 pictures. I either get you or I don't. One and done.
I like that.
And it's just one and done, and there they were, and I just snapped it, and I said, I got you, and that's it. And boy, that picture just, I look at that picture, I made a black and white out of
Right,
it, I made a
right,
color out of it.
right.
And it's just looking at Luther and looking at those faces. And then,
Yep.
you know, it was just a magic moment, especially with Bobby Rush. You know, he's such a
Right,
great guy.
right,
I
he
wasn't
is.
sure if you were there that night.
Not that night.
Yeah, but you remember that.
I do. Mickey shared the stories, and I saw the photos and things he had shared
Yeah.
about it. You know, so
Yeah, I put a lot of photos out there, and
Yep.
it was good. I even think I brought my little granddaughter at the time.
That's awesome.
And she was up on the stage with Luther, and Mike Zito came down.
Yep.
You know, she was a
Yep.
big ham. You know, she had no shame at 5,
Yep.
6 years old.
Yep.
No shame.
Oh, yeah.
And you know, here she is with Luther. You know, Mickey, the whole gang. Mike Zito came down. Toneless was there, string bender, you know, he was there.
Yep.
Ron Levy, the whole gang. It was just a magic night. I wasn't sure if you were there because when I look at the picture in my head, I
Right.
remember the beards.
Sure, sure. I'm sure there was a
It's
few
hard to
floating
miss
around.
yours. I wasn't
Yep.
sure if you were there, but
Yep.
anyway, Luther was just such a great guy, and
He
you know,
was.
and you know, his memory through you, through Mickey, and through so many others,
Yep.
you know, will live on.
Oh yeah, I even got his face tattooed on the side of my leg now.
Really?
I do.
Wow.
He's
Wow.
walking around with me
Ha, good for
every
you.
day, and he used to call us all ugly asses, so I can call him an ugly ass now because he won't hit me.
There you go.
He might. The spirit
you-
world is something. He might hit me.
Yeah, he'll flatten your tire one
Yeah,
of these days.
he
you know.
will.
Good
He will.
for you. Good for you. Now, as far as your music go, you know, you're going out on your own. You know, you're taking a big chance. And is that nervous for you?
Oh, of course.
Nervous?
It is, and whenever I feel like that, or whenever I'm beating myself up a little bit of like, wow, what's really going on? My brother Mike always says you gotta do the things in life that scare the heck out of you.
Right.
You know. So then I smile, as scared as I am at some times, and I go, I'm right in my element. This is where I need to be.
Right.
This is all part of it. So.
Right.
A lot of fun. It feels so good because I traveled for a little bit. I recorded in Nashville. Then I drove to Florida for some gigs I had booked, visit family, started visiting friends along the road. And to come back home and like the Granite State Blues Society, I've been playing
Big part
and
of
part
that.
of the family for years, and
Yep.
they all gave me big hugs and
I
welcomed
invited
me
them all
back.
here today.
Yep.
Debbie's out in Alaska somewhere.
Oh yeah, I can't argue that.
Yeah.
I'd be in Alaska right now if I could too.
There you go.
But yeah, just it's a lot of fun, and to see people excited to hear about the growth or
Yeah.
the
And
new
you did a little
songs to
test
come.
run too, didn't you? You've done a couple little test runs
I've
of your
done
stuff.
a couple of
heard you
a
did
couple
a
of
little
solo
couple of
gigs.
test runs,
Yeah, I
yeah.
did a couple of solo
Yeah.
gigs, and the second one it was a ticketed event, 20-seater room, and I'm blessed to say my first sold out show. And so all those that came out to the listening room in Wilton, New Hampshire, you made me a very happy camper that night, and we all had a lot of fun. I mean, I was mind blown. I'm playing a brand new song nobody heard before, and they're cheering for my lyrics halfway into the middle of it, and I'm going, "Whoa, geez, this is something else." You know, they made me feel like $1 million
Good for
bucks. I
you.
hope I made them feel like $1 million bucks.
Good for you. And you're putting a little band together. You're kind of testing the waters of how
Yep.
you want to build your band and build, surround yourself with some musicians. And
Right, right.
How's that going for you? I know you got the feelers out
yep.
there. You're picking out some people.
It's been a lot of fun. I got one full-time friend right now. We rehearse once a week, and we're trying to build out the project and plan for the future as we speak. And I'm doing a lot behind the scenes right now, which is why the gigs are still a little bit slow, just because I got to build a website and I got to get the portfolio squared away. So,
Right.
or I should say, I really want to get it squared away before I'm full force gig.
Right.
You know, and then I plan on doing CD release parties, so I have ideas. I have all kinds of ideas I'm really excited about.
Right. Well,
you know.
this forum is certainly open to you anytime.
Of course.
If you want to do that, down the line, you want to bring in
I'd
a
love
couple of
to.
band guys and come on
Yeah.
in and promote again, you're more than welcome.
Definitely.
But let me ask you, I've asked this question 100 times to 100 different people. I got a whole bunch of different answers, and I'll throw 2 quick ones out at you. And you're walking through a park,
Yep.
and there's an empty bench, and you're sitting yourself, say, boy, I wish that I could sit on that bench with Bang and shoot the breeze for an hour.
Wow.
Who would you want on that bench Living or dead, anybody you want to sit on that bench for an hour and talk to.
Man, that's I only get one person, huh? If I only get one person, I would go with my great grandfather.
Okay,
because I have memories of him, but I was a kid, so I never really had conversations with him.
Okay.
You know, I remember going to his house, and he had the double door, so he'd pop the first one open and say hi to us. And like I said, I was probably like 6, 7, so I'm just like, oh, this is the coolest door. And we're at his house, and my mom shares a story about my great grandfather was a woodworker.
Okay.
So he would make his own, you know, you can get like wooden puzzle pieces. You got to try to figure out how they work or how to fold it into a box or something.
Yeah.
So he had some sort of puzzle piece. No one could figure it out. No one could figure it out. My mom told me when I was 6, I sat down and I figured this puzzle out. And apparently my grandfather just sat there, my great grandfather sat there smiling at me, and he never told anybody how to solve the puzzle. The puzzle still exists. I'm told a cousin eventually got it. So I will try to find it one day to see if I can still figure it out. But maybe that's part of the creative learning side of me. I've always been a very good visual learner looking at things, but I think I would sit down with him and
what would be the first thing you ask him? How would you start the conversation?
I don't know. I guess a big hug. I don't even know how I would start it. That's well. I would want to learn about. He also lived to be 106.
Wow.
So he can have 106. I
want to sit down on the bench with him.
I want to be 103. That sounds good to me. You know.
Good for you.
So I would want to learn about his upbringing. What was life like for you when you were a kid? And you know, and you know, I went and saw that down at Salisbury Beach, they do this thing with these like old, how they used to put out fires. So they have these old machines, and it's a team that runs them. And then I'm looking at the dates on these things, and I'll go, this was reality for my great grandfather, and those are the things I want to learn about, you know. And
good stuff. Good stuff.
Yeah, you know.
Good for you.
If my father's still around, so I still get those conversations.
Good for you. Good for you.
But yeah.
I hand you a hammer and a chisel. Who are the 4 people you'd put up on your Mount Rushmore?
I would definitely, Guitar Jr.'s going up there. Luther Guitar Jr. Johnson.
Yeah.
And he had a heck of a smile, so his face would look good up there.
He was a character.
I would definitely put my parents up there.
Nice.
You know what I mean? Because I wouldn't be here without them.
Nice.
And they have supported my musical adventures since day one. My father used to bring me to Tuesday Night Blues Jam every Tuesday.
Nice.
And then wake up at 4:30 in the morning to drive to Boston to go to work. And he did that for years, you know what I mean? And those are the little things. At the time, I wasn't thinking about that.
Right.
I just happy to be playing music. And then now that I'm older, I realize all these sacrifices that your parents really do to push you along when you're young, you know, because they want you to grow and do the things you love. So, and my dad always told me when I was a kid, he had this short story he'd like to share. We'd go out on the boat, and they had a restaurant out there on the water. And he said, you know, me and your Uncle Al, we always talked about opening up a restaurant. We're going to serve Cuban food, Cuban sandwiches. He's like, and we planned it all out, but we never pulled the trigger. Years later, this guy opens up a business on the water, on a big pontoon boat. About a year or 2 into it, he sells it for millions, goes off to live his life wherever he chooses to afterwards, or you know. And my dad says, I always tell you guys this story because if you truly believe in something, I want you guys to go for it. Don't do what me and Uncle Al did. You know, so I always remind myself of that. I love music. It hit me when I was young. I got bit by it at 11. By 16, I'm fascinated by, you know, B.B. King, Stevie Ray Vaughan, Buddy Guy, and I'm still listening to rap artists. I'm still listening to some punk stuff.
Yep.
But the blues is the home court. The blues is always in here, you know what I mean? So I dug deep into that for forever, and now I'm bringing that blues into the next step. I'm, you know, finding a new sound. No, I don't even know if it's a new sound. I'm finding my sound with it now.
Well, you're a good torchbearer. Is there anything that we didn't talk about that you would like to talk about? Any questions I didn't ask you that you thought I might, or anything else you want to?
I think we kind of
covered a lot, right?
Yeah, we covered a lot.
I think we're missing anything?
I think that's the gist of it. I started when I was 11. I'm 34, and I ain't gave up yet, and I'm still going.
You were born in a hospital because you wanted to be near your mother.
Yep. You ain't kidding. And for my birthday, I got the name Frank.
There you go. Frank,
Yep.
I don't think I'll forget your name.
Yep, I certainly won't forget yours.
Any shout-outs that you want to give? Anybody you want to say hello to? Any shout-outs?
Just everybody out there that has pushed me along to this point and gotten me to sit in this chair with you, and all of you supported me, pushed me along, and brought me to so many great places. Eliza Niels took me to Spain. I did 2 weeks in Spain just
Nice.
because of the way I play a guitar. Man, that's mind-blowing to me, you know what I mean?
go.
I'm so grateful.
There you go.
Eliza is such an incredible boss and human, and it teaches me what to do as I grow and as I become more of a boss, and now I'm kind of the leader of the band, so it teaches me how to treat the people around me.
Nice. How can people get a hold of you? How can they find your music? How can they follow you? How can they get a hold of you?
You can search Frank E.B. Music.
We're going to put this all up on the
Yes,
we're
Frank
going to put it all
E.B.
up on the
Music.
screen. Frank E.B. Music.
And it's on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, etc.
Right.
Yep.
Well, I always despise guests who I just have to, beg and pull information out of.
Sure. I'll answer it all. You can ask away. Ask the scary questions if you have to.
No, this has been great. I hope it's been fun for you.
Oh, a blast.
And, hopefully you'll get some good things out of it. And I always say that we couldn't do this show without the great people at SMAC.
Right.
And the
Right.
great supporters who we have. So we have Luke in the booth. We have Anya who steers the ship.
Right.
We have Amber. We have other people here who make us look and sound pretty. So we couldn't do it without them.
Sure.
And we're very blessed to have a
100%.
lot of supporters today. We have some great people in the studio.
Yep.
We have Beverly Dancy, who always puts the camera work, and she's running the cameras, and she makes you look and sound pretty when you're playing.
Oh, yeah.
We have the Snyders here, Ellen and Tim, who are here. And I said Tim. It's not Tim. Larry. Ellen and Larry. And we also have Ms. Kerman here in the house,
Right.
who came in time for the first time. So it's great to have you all here, and thank you for your support. And also, it's important for the people at home to go out and support you.
You and all live
And
music.
support the other musicians. So, ladies and gentlemen, go out and support your musicians. They're there for you. You're there for them. They can't do it without you. You can't do it without them. So, once again, Frankie, thanks so much, man.
Of course.
It's
Thank
been a
you.
pleasure.
It has.
Thank you to my guest in studio. And ladies and gentlemen, thank you. I am Frank Walsh, Frankie Maneiro. As always, tune in and tune on.